Hey guys, I am down on the allotment today and I am going to be digging up my Ranunculus Corm. For anyone who doesn't know, my name is Peggy and I am growing a cut flower garden here on my allotment in Kanagawa Prefecture, Japan, which is just south of Tokyo in USDA Zone 9B. Thanks for checking out my channel. So today I have decided that I'm going to dig up my Ranunculus Corm. Now I'm in Zone 9B, which means we don't get a really cold winter, and I actually usually put my corm out in October and overwinter them so I get early spring ranunculus. So I'm not doing this because I'm scared that they're going to freeze, which is bad for corm. If you're in a very cold area, you can't do that. When they defrost, they'll just turn to mush and won't grow. So if you're in a cold area, you do need to be lifting your corm. Most professional flower growers only use Ranunculus corm for 1 year because the second and third and so on blooms tend to be smaller, the plants aren't as proficient, they don't put up as long stems, but I'm not growing them for profit, I'm just growing them for me. And in Japan, Ranunculus corms are A, quite hard to come by, and B, really expensive. They sell them in bags of 5 corm, which isn't very much. So I don't want to have to be buying these every year. Now, like I say, I could leave them in the ground, but if you've been following along, you'll know that I had to change allotments last year. They sold off the land that my old allotment was on and I had to move to this one. And when I did that, I dug up all my Ranunculus corm, or at least I tried to. When I dug up where my Ranunculus had been, I didn't find that many. And I think there's several reasons why that happened. One is we get rainy season here. And so the ground is soaking wet for a long time. Then we get typhoon season, then we get summer where everything bakes, and then typhoon season where we get the rains again. And so I think that between being soaking wet, the baked in the hot ground, and then probably eaten by anything that's trying to survive, all of those things, they just didn't survive. So this year I have decided that now that they have died back, but I can still see where they were, I'm going to go ahead and try and dig up as many as I can. So this is where my ranunculus were planted, and you can see they've died back, but you can still see where most of the plants were. I've got these little tufts sticking out, so I know where they were. And some of them, just with the rain that we've had in the last week, have started to come up to the surface anyway. So if I didn't dig these up and collect them, a lot of these would just be lost. Here's one just lying on the ground anyway. Okay, you can see when you pull these up that where there was one corm, I now have loads. Now I'll wash these off and show you, but they literally pull off into lots of little different ones, which is great. Hopefully it means I'll have a lot more ranunculus next year. Look at that, it's like a monster corm. Huge. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so this is how much I've got. I know it just looks like a big ball of mud, but there are lots of corm in here. So I am going to take these home, wash them off, dry them out, separate them, and then show you what I get. Okay, I'm now back home and I have a bucket of water and my corm. So I am going to wash these because they're all in big muddy clumps. I want to try and get as much mud off them as possible just to make this easier for me. And then give them a good wash. So once you've washed them, it makes it much easier to see where the actual corm are. Now this one has 2 stalks coming out of it, so it was obviously growing as 2 plants. So if I just pull where those stalks are and give it a bit of a wiggle, that's going to come apart. And those are 2 corm. And I'm going to go ahead and wash them again because I don't want to leave any of this mud here, or that's going to cause it to rot. And there is my first corm. You do have to be quite careful because these legs break off really easily. So don't pull on them too hard and don't rub too hard or you'll end up breaking them. Okay, I've got one like this. Now this is where the plant grew last year. You can see the stalk is still coming out a little bit, but it's grown a second corm underneath. So if you're very gentle and just give this a wiggle, it's kind of like depuzzling. There you go. You end up with 2 corm instead of 1, and this is the new corm. Free flowers. Here's another one. This is where it flowered last year, and you can see this one's kind of hanging on like a little baby octopus and just wants to fall off and make a new flower. This one's like a little cluster ready to be pulled apart. So I'm going to start with this small one at the side. There you go. Comes off nice and easy. But I think this one could be split into 2 as well. But I'm not going to. I'm actually going to leave that because I don't want to pull it apart too hard and risk breaking the corm. So this one I'll put back in like this, and maybe next year this is going to divide some more and give me a second one. Here's another one that looks like I could divide it almost into 3, but these legs are so close together and have kind of grown in amongst each other that really if I can't wiggle it and it breaks off, then I don't want to force it because I don't want to break these little legs. So this is just going to go in as a very big corm, and I'm guessing next year this will divide possibly into 3 for me. But I don't want to force it and end up breaking little octopus legs. I mean, you can clearly see that this one has grown a little child here. So hopefully if you just give it a wiggle, yeah, breaks off really easily. It's raining. This one has just come apart literally while I was washing it. So it's given me 1 from under there, and then these will break into 2. There we go. So that is going to be 3. 1 little one, 2 big ones. And I'm going to go and hide from the rain. There's something really weirdly satisfying about pulling these apart. I like it. I find it really interesting that they just kind of grow on top of each other, but don't seem to be connected in any way. It's just like a massive knot of tangled up legs. Like when you see starfish covering a coral all piled up on top of each other. Lots of corm. Now that I have these guys all clean, I am going to lay them out on the deck to dry. Now it is raining right now, but this isn't just a passing shower, but I am still going to put them underneath the umbrella here so that they're not getting unnecessarily wet. I'm not going to put them in full sun either. I don't want these to get baked. I don't want them to dry too fast. I want them to air dry slowly and make sure that they're dry all the way through is my plan. And the most important thing is lots of airflow. You really don't want these middle bits to be sitting damp and gross. So I'm going to leave them to air this way so the water runs down the little claws and drips off. And here they are, all laid out on the deck to dry. As you can see, some are huge and some are teeny tiny. But I'll give them all a chance. So now we just wait for them to dry. Hey guys, these have now all dried out. They have been drying for 4 days. It was raining here, so I put them on this wire rack, and had them propped up inside to make sure there was lots of airflow getting underneath them. I've kind of been turning them over regularly to make sure that all the water was out. You really want to get these really nicely dried up. And as you can see, they've all shriveled up, kind of turned a much darker brown and look a bit skinny, but they're not dead. This is what you want them to do. So this was my really big one, and then I've got a lot of them look really, really teeny tiny small now, like this. So when they look like this, which like I say for me was, what, 4 days? Now these are ready to be stored. So to store these, you have to be careful. You don't want to put them in a plastic bag. It has to be able to breathe. If you put them in plastic, any condensation or any wetness that is left in those corms is going to come out and end up making everything moldy, and that's what you really need to try and avoid when you're storing them. So I'm going to put them in this. This is just a paper envelope that I got sent, but it's nice, it's big, it's strong, and I'm going to put them all in here. Not like that, that's not going to work, is it? I'm going to do it gently. And I can count them. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Boom! There's 75. So I am just going to close this up, fold it over, and then I'm going to store it somewhere cool and dark, which is pretty hard to find at this time of year in Japan, but I'll probably put it at the back of the pantry. Now, I only have to store these until October. That's when I will rehydrate these by soaking them and then plant them out again. So I don't have to store them for very long, but I am constantly going to open it up and check for mold. Now, if any of these get the slightest bit of mold on, I will take that one out, check all the other ones, but make sure that if it's got a little bit of mold, it's not going to get better. You can't just wipe it off and it's going to go away. It will destroy the rest of them in here. So it's better just to sacrifice that one that you find that's moldy and save the rest of them. Now, like I say, 75 corm. In Japan, they sell corm for ranunculus in packs of 5, and they're about 700 yen. So, I mean, that is a lot of money saved. Now, flower farmers do tend to use new corm every year because they say that you get bigger, stronger plants with more flowers. I guess that's my experiment for next year. I did try and do that experiment last year, and I bought really nice new big corm, and they all went moldy in the pre-sprouting process, which is why I decided that I don't need to pre-sprout here at all. I pre-soak, but I do not pre-sprout my ranunculus because I was losing so many to mold. So I didn't get to do that, so maybe that will be one for me to do this spring to see if these corm do as well as new corm or not. Now, some of these are really, really tiny. I'm not sure what I can expect from them, but I guess we have to wait until next spring to see how that goes. But for now, 75 corm dried out in this bag, ready to go somewhere dark and cold and just wait. Not too long though, only October, that's not so bad. If you guys want to follow along and see how these do and what happens next spring, then please hit the subscribe button below and see everything that's going on in the garden. If you want to see things on a more daily basis and see what I do with all of the flowers that I cut from my garden, you can check out my Instagram, which is From the Witch's Garden, and there is a link to that below. And I will see you guys next week. Bye!